Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Nichelle. This is me posting something for the first time. This channel is really is going to be based off of those who are just either standing for marriage restoration, believing God for a kingdom spouse, or just believing God for whatever he's promised you, and just standing on it and believing in his word. But I just wanted to get on here and give quick encouragement to those who are standing and believing God for something. My journey honestly is something that and I won't get into that right now, because I just wanted to give encouragement. But as I go further along with developing my channel, you guys will get to learn and know a lot about me and my journey. And my goal, honestly, is to help someone, to help anyone, and encourage them, to just keep going. Do not, get discouraged by things, what they see, things that they may hear when you are trusting and believing God for something. I'll give you a little bit, really about what God promised me, and what he promised me, and what I, kind of like, basically just the challenge it was. And I'll be honest with you, it's still a challenge. But right now I'm in the season where I'm seeing it all unfold, of what God has promised me. So I can say maybe a couple of years back, my marriage went through, great, a great, just spiritual warfare. That's something that I've never seen, didn't know anything about. I didn't know anything, first of all, know anything about standing for a marriage. I've been married once before, but I was young, and I didn't really have anyone teaching me anything about, about marriage, and really the biblical principles of marriage. Let's just say that. I've been in church most of my life, since I was a little girl, but yet again, never just understood like biblical principles of a marriage. But like I said, I was young. Got married the first time I was 21, and I had already had 2 kids. So really, that basically really my mindset of, okay, that's the right thing to do. It needed to be married. But it didn't work. So I ended up married a second time, and everything was great. I felt like, my husband was my best friend. He still is. Still my best friend. And it's something, a chemistry I really never ever experienced. However, the marriage was tested, very much so. And I just, and when it happened, I lacked a lot of knowledge of biblical principles concerning marriage. Because my mindset is, that's the, that's the right thing to do. Getting married, yes, it is great, and it's all bliss, when first going into it. But finding out, hey, that's not all marriage is about. And so, but like I said, my marriage was tested. And there was a lot of spiritual warfare that I had no knowledge even of that. And so God, he was just, this is things that I learned as God, was pushing me along. But honestly, went through the whole devastating and depressed and couldn't understand what just happened. And it was horrible. It was horrible. And so, of course, and honestly, infidelity, and I don't really want to get into, too much of, my husband's side of it. But again, I don't want to do that, because that's not what this is for. But yes, it was, it was infidelity. But God chose me to stand. And how I knew he was telling me to do so, because I was not, I honestly, I just this, okay, infidelity, well, that's enough. That's a wrap. Yes, still hurt, but okay, at this point, hey, then I guess this is a wrap. But something was urging me, well, I could say the Holy Spirit was urging me to really seek the Lord about it, not just really going off of my own thought process of the whole thing, but seeking him concerning that. And oh boy, I'm telling you, I was just like, okay, what is this? Why the need for me to ask Lord what to do, when it clearly, it says, that's the only time, you're free to leave a marriage is through infidelity. However, God will honor, excuse me, if he's calling you to do something. I do know that being obedient to the Father is far more important than any understanding of mine that I want to lean to, or just anything. Overall, obedience to the Lord is, yeah, it says, hey, obedience, hey, is like fasting is good. And I'm going to tell you right now, I had to do a lot of that. I had to do a lot of fasting through this journey, but it definitely required me to be obedient. If he told me to do a thing, I needed to do it. Now, he understands the pain. So of course I had to deal with that. I had to, had to deal with my hurt. I had to, and the unforgiveness. And I can say I was a person. Basically, God had a call. He had, is a calling on my life. And when God has a calling on your life, woo, you gonna know it. You're gonna know it. And so, asked the Lord, what do you want me to do? I can't do this. I can't do this again. I just can't do this again. And I'm pretty much through with it. I'm done with it. Not saying I wasn't hurt, and I would go on and do whatever, but God didn't want me to do that. Clearly asked me one day, I remember getting in the shower and just randomly said, so you're just going to leave him out there? You're going to leave him out there? Just pretty much so the enemy can just have him. You're just going to let him go. And I know when I'm feeling convicted about something, because I just, my spirit was just like, oh wow, like wow, and I just cry. And I knew at that time I was getting closer to the Lord, but with my marriage being, going through this, it was definitely something to get me even closer to the Lord, because that's what He wanted in the first place. But that really broke me, because I really love this man, and I don't want anybody, especially if I'm trying to do what's right, in the sight of God. I don't want to do anything displeasing to Him. I don't, and definitely God calls us to bring souls to Christ. And so when you are married, you are one. You're one flesh. You guys are one. And so the fact that he questioned me with that, you just going to leave him? No, you're going to leave him. I then knew, I said, okay, there's something he's not wanting me to leave this. That I knew then he didn't want me to leave this marriage. However, I'm like, so what do you want me to do? I don't know what to do. I got a lot of emotions going on in here, and it ain't good. I really didn't know what he wanted me to do. So I just started going on YouTube. I don't even, I don't know anything. Again, I don't know nothing about anybody's marriage restorations. I didn't know anything. And I just was led to looking through YouTube, and I found this one particular YouTube channel. And I'm gonna go ahead and shout her out. I haven't seen if her channel, if she's been posting anything lately, but you'll know from me, once we get into further along, that this whole thing was a journey. It was a whole journey, and God led me to different people. But at this time, it was this channel. It's Glory Ministries, and I don't even know if she still calls her channel that, but this is the first one, and talking about marriage restoration. So I begin to really start following her and listening to her channel, and I'm like, whoa, standing for your marriage. And like I said, the only thing I knew was that the Lord did not want me to leave. That's what I did know. So I said, okay, well, this is what we're talking about. So she just, basically it's telling you, hey, you have to pray. This is something, a tactic from the enemy. And this is what the enemy does. He attacks marriages. He hates them. He hates it like no other. You can be, you can be living, shacking up with a person, whatnot, engaged or whatever, but, and really, you know, if fornication is in the midst of that, well, you already know the enemy, he's not worried about he's not worried about that. However, marriages, they're designed by God. Okay? And although sometimes, you know, people, like I said, I lacked a lot of knowledge at one point about marriage. But some people don't, you know, they do marriage however they do marriage. And we call it like the worldly way. But again, like I say, and not throwing no shade, but some people just lack the knowledge, and I was one of them. And so, but I learned a lot from watching her channel. I learned a lot, and that is what got me started. Standing for your marriage means going to war and praying. You're fighting. You're fighting in the spirit. You're not fighting in the natural. Because I can tell you right now, I'm really not a person that I don't have time. Like, I'm just, I got a lot of things going on. Listen, I don't have time to be hooting, hollering, fighting, and doing nothing over nothing. No. But I can tell you one thing. When you're going up in the spirit and you're fighting for your spouse, you're fighting for the promises that God gave you, you got to suit up for that, and you got to go to war. And you go to war until it is done. You go to war in the spirit till it's done. So, honestly, I want to, you know, just start this off by saying, don't give up. Do not give up on what God promised you. He promised you marriage restoration. Believe and have faith, and you fight for your spouse, because the enemy makes it look like he makes it look like your spouse is the enemy, and your spouse is not. Man, female, your spouse is not the enemy. I learned that. I mean, it wasn't easy. That wasn't easy. I can tell you, like I said, I prayed and I fasted. Oh, man. The enemy, oh my gosh. When they say he's the father of lies, he is the father of lies. But let me back up, though. I got multiple confirmations from the Lord that he wanted me to do that. To stand for my husband. I know everybody's journey is not the same when it comes to marriage. But the confirmations, and the confirmations were through dreams. I was having them dreams about restoration before it really got bad. And so, but it had already, you know, like, okay, infidelity had taken place, but we didn't go through a separation just yet, and I was already getting the dreams of the of restoration. So really at that time I didn't know really what that meant, but further along I would see, you know, God would just give me confirmations. And then again, we're led to few people, not a lot of people, honestly, not a lot of people concerned. I wasn't led to a lot, but God did place certain people in my life at certain different seasons of the journey. But I got confirmation. And confirmations is to build faith, to build your faith. It does. You do get discouraged along the journey sometimes, you know, but you just gotta go with God. When it comes to go with God, stick with Him. Believe His word. Believe His word. That's reading it, believing it. God is not a man and shall lie. He will not lie. He gives you something, He says something, it's gonna be done. I can tell you that. It will be done. God's will and plans for your life will be done. Can't nobody and nothing, no devil in hell can stop the plans of God. Now they may try to delay it, but you pray against that too. Pray against delays, demonic delays. But oh no, but the will of God will be done for sure. His will be done. But I'll get back on here. I don't know what He gives me. I just kind of wanted to give a little history about my journey as it continues to unfold. It within God's plan for my life, what He already has said. Just want to encourage everyone who is just, you know, either going through something in their marriage and you don't know what to do, what is going on, and just need some guidance, some encouragement, because I sure enough did on my journey. I definitely did. And my gosh, God has just really done, He's just done great things. And I've got to, you know, come into meet some real great people, great women of God, you know, who helped me to understand what it was I was what I was up against. But trust God, believe God, fight against what the enemy is trying to steal from you. What God's giving you, fight. Not physically. You have to fight you don't have to fight in the physical, although you may want to, but no, in prayer, fasting, because fasting will move some things, really, and it helps you too. It helps build your faith. It helps you in your emotions. You know, it just, fasting was and still is the weapon. It is. Along with obedience. Obey God. Oh man, because he's going to give you some instructions along the lines in this journey. He's going to give you some instructions. But definitely make sure you know, hey, unforgiveness, oh my goodness, because that is something that really will tear people up, for real. Like, that's something, really, I was in constant prayer with that. Like, help me in my unforgiveness. It's daily, you know, me and the unforgiveness, any offense, I don't, Lord, I'm trying to do this thing with you for real. No shape, form, or fashion am I trying to be fake. You know, I'm this type of person is like, hey, if you're not gonna do it right, you ain't gonna be real about. Don't do it at all. Don't be halfway stepping it, and I'm just not that one. And so I'm not gonna half step with God. That's one man I'm not playing with. No. So I just want to encourage you guys, encourage you all who are standing and believing one for their marriage and believing in the promises of God. Just, stay prayerful and encouraged. Trust in Him. Trust the Lord with all your heart, and lean not to your own understanding. He will direct your path, for sure. All right. Well, that was my first initial video. Hope it helped someone. Like I said, I'll do more according to how God leads me. What I will talk about. I haven't yet put anything in the description, but I will. Anyone can email me or reach out to me if you have any questions. But all right, I hope you guys enjoy your day. Today is Sunday right now, but whenever you catch this video, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And may God bless you abundantly. All right, have a good one. Bye.